Ms. Shakarian.
Here.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Here.
Ms. Rashid.
Here.
And Mr. Farmer. Here.
Our first order of business, according to the agenda, is the oath of office. Trustee Parker and myself, we did the oath of office already, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Our second order of business is State of Ohio Legislator Budget Update. Mr. Cosgrove and Desmond Bryant, sorry.
Hi, good afternoon. I'd like to introduce Tim Cosgrove, who is our partner and lobbyist in our advocacy work. As opposed to doing an advocacy update during my community service portion, Mr. Cosgrove and his colleague Des will give us a state of the legislative agenda, talk about where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. So after that, I'll give it up for Tim.
Thank you so much. And I think Des has joined us, if I'm not mistaken. Des Bryant is one of our colleagues in Columbus. You may have heard that name before. I like to tell folks we have the real champion, Des Bryant, right with us here. So he's going to join in the conversation as well. But again, thanks. Appreciate the opportunity to be here today and to kind of walk through quickly some of what's going on in Columbus. And just I want to do a few things today. I don't know, do I look?
I'm sorry, yes, hi. Brian, if you could click to the next slide, please.
There we go. Okay. So just briefly today, I want to talk about some of the activities from the past year, some of the budget outcomes and legislative threats, and how we engage really over the next several months. And we'll talk about this briefly in a bit, but 2026 is really an extremely important year because it's a transition year. And in many ways, 2026 may well set the table for the next 8 years because you got a new governor coming in. There'll be new leadership in the Senate. Speaker in the House is pretty settled. But it's a really, really important year with respect to outreach and kind of messaging. So what part of what we'll be focusing on this year is obviously what's in front of us. And the legislative schedule, I think, is going to be fairly light. They'll be in now through the end of March. There'll be a lot of activity, I believe, in May and early June. And then we're not likely to see folks see the General Assembly until a lame duck session after the election in November. But there could be a lot of stuff. I like to say to folks, it's going to be relatively quiet, but will be punctuated by moments of terror. So we need to be prepared. And Des, please feel free. I can't see you because you're off to the side, but speak up when I misspeak or you want to add something.
Absolutely.
And again, to the next slide. It is an election year. All the statewide offices are up. We also have a U.S. Senate race, of course, all 15 congressional districts. It's going to be a really robust year in Ohio. I think most people anticipate that given everything in the national environment, it's going to be a competitive year in terms of where we're headed. All members of the Ohio House are up, and half of the Senate, 17 members of the Senate. And again, I don't want to bounce ahead here, but when you look at our delegation, for example, from Cuyahoga County, we're going to have a lot of new members. Representative Upchurch is term limited. Representative Sweeney, who I suspect will end up in the Senate, is term limited, so we'll have a new member there. So there's a series of folks that, again, as we look in 2026, there's an opportunity to do outreach. I'm going to pause there real quick. Des, anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I'll just kind of reiterate what you're saying and just really stress, and good afternoon, everyone, is that this governor's race, like you stated, Tim, is going to really shape the next 4 to 8 years, especially when it comes to education funding, when it comes to public safety policy, and just agency leadership. And so aside from, almost, I think, half of the Senate seats being up for election, like you stated, Tim, all 99 seats of the House Representatives is up for re-election. So this creates a huge opportunity for really proactive engagement with legislators related to our library priorities. And so I just really want to emphasize and stress the importance of early relationship building because it really matters, especially with the incoming freshmen that would be coming in. But just again, reiterating the importance priorities that we have as an institution to all of the members during this coming year.
And just let's look backwards just for a moment in terms of where we were this year with respect to the budget, because the PLF, of course, is so critically important to us. And our leader here really played an extraordinary role in some of the issues going on in Columbus, working with Shanice on some of the funding issues. Again, one of the things I think long-term that really needs to be looked at is this issue of the formula that was in state statute with respect to how money was distributed. There was a slight decrease in the number, but I think looking towards the future, probably what's more concerning is the eradication of the formula. Good news is, and again, Mr. Thomas played an extraordinarily important role in the whole debate about the local formula, and changes proposed in that in statute could have had a real adverse impact on the library, on this Cleveland Public Library, which again, that was avoided. But that's something that we really have to look to in the future. Good thing is, and it's early, but state revenues are pretty good. So as we begin to look at the end of this fiscal year, looking into the next, we're not looking at a situation where we're likely to have a General Assembly that has to come back to adjust a budget. So that's a good thing. And also the Library for the Blind, of course, was flat funded. Next slide, please.
Yeah, that's going to be the next slide.
I'm sorry?
No, I was going to say that was the next slide, Tim.
Yeah, so did you want to talk about this real quick, Des?
Well, yeah, as far as this slide here, I think you just highlighted a lot of things, but I just want to really highlight that there was a lot of work done behind the scenes to reinforce the message of the library with respect to funding. One thing I really wanted to highlight before we move on was the Advocacy Day that was done last year. I know we have Advocacy Day coming up, or Legislative Day coming up, I think March 18th, but those types of engagements are very important, not only to the work that we do, but also really emphasizing to elected officials the importance in making it more real, seeing you all. So really want to encourage you all to come down on the 18th if you can, and really highlight the importance of engagements like that, and just coordination is the key. And so I just wanted to really, again, highlight that and the importance of advocacy, not just the work that we do behind the scenes, but you all just showing up to engagements like that is very, very important. So just want to stop there, but just want to say kudos to that, because that was just amazing seeing you all down at the State House last year, and look forward to seeing you all in the coming weeks.
And interestingly enough, last year on Library Day is when the whole issue of the local distribution really heated up. So it ended up being very timely.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the other issue that was
I
in
think
the
we may want to speak to the local distribution and the issues faced there. So there are two distribution issues. First of it is that there is an amount of money that is given to libraries, and that's worked on a formula. There are libraries across the state who are seeking to get more funding, so they're pressuring to get a different formula in place. And that is something that we've been working on and didn't have to deal with that in the last budget, but that could be an issue that we are facing in this budget. So folks in other areas, legislators are working with their libraries to put more pressure to see a different formula out there, so that their libraries could get more money, and other libraries like us would lose money in those formulas. And then second, internally within Cuyahoga County, there's a formula for how that money is shared, and we work to get a deal worked in that we would stay with this formula through the end of 2027.
And those challenges, we'll talk about this in a second, but are going to be compounded with this whole property tax discussion as well, and where that goes. So next slide, please. So next, please. The other thing, just wanted to mention real quick, of course, the library language, which does require, the language requires that certain material dealing with sexual orientation be out of the view of minors and behind the counter. That language was ultimately vetoed by the governor. Keep in mind, there's been some discussion about overriding the veto. It hasn't really gotten a lot of legs. That process has to start in the House. But the General Assembly has the whole, up until the end of this year, has the ability to override that veto. So it's not over yet. Next, please. We talked about this. Did you want to add anything on that, Des?
Nothing at this point in time.
Okay. Again, Des talked earlier about relationship building and engagement. And again, I think everybody has a copy of this, and if you have questions, I'd be more than happy to talk. But this is going to be. Next slide, please. This will continue to be a focus of this year. I know, as Des mentioned, and I know that we're engaging in this library day. That's kind of the start of this. The nice thing about the fact that there'll be a lot of free time over the summer, and we've done this in the past, meeting with members when they're not in session. I like that old saying, you make your friends when you don't need them. So we'll be spending, I think, a significant amount of time in the summer months, kind of reaching out in the fall as well. But it's extremely important because, as we know, again, this kind of in so many ways sets the table for the next 8 years, potentially. It could be 4, but I think you have to plan on 8.
You said you think Bridie might go from a House to Senate.
She is running for the Senate,
Oh, she
yes.
is running for Senate.
Yeah. And again, I she's been a terrific advocate for us on so many issues. And she's been really quietly, extraordinarily effective in Columbus, and has been really key in her role on the Finance Committee for some of our issues. So we'll miss her in the House, but I think she'll be a great advocate in the.
But our current senator is not going to be competing with her then.
Senator Antonio is term limited.
Oh, she's term limited?
Yes.
Really? Oh, my.
Yeah. No, so that is
I
an
didn't
open
know
seat.
that.
Yeah. And Senator Antonio has been a big supporter too.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, she's term limited. Okay, next, please. And again, we talked a lot about this already. Des, did you want to mention anything here?
So the only thing is kind of over the last couple of slides, and that, I know that we are going to potentially be advocating for, the funding formula to be potentially reinstated, whatever it may be. However, the current funding formula, and the way that it is now is just really want to emphasize more relationship driven. So I know this is kind of the reoccurring theme and talking point throughout this presentation is relationship building, sustaining the relationships that we have, and also continuing to target the champion legislators that we have in the legislature. And so just wanted to, again, reemphasize that over the next several months, it's going to be very advantageous for us to continue to build upon the relationships that we have and also create the relationships that we need to have with the incoming members that are on the campaign trail over the next couple of months. So just wanted to, again, reemphasize the importance of that relationship building.
So, and a couple of things in terms of this year. One of the things I want to mention quickly, don't have a lot of specifics on it yet, but we've been working with Shanice and the General Counsel on some proposed language dealing with special improvement districts and tax exempt issues for libraries. So that's important on our list. We've got some draft language on that we'll be talking through. And again, that's probably, given the level of activity, I suspect that may be a little bit later in the year. That's an important issue. But the 100-pound gorilla that's in the room for us and a lot of others is this whole property tax issue. And there's a series of property tax bills that passed, which are in this. We're not going to go over them today for the sake of time. The good news is that for the most part, those did not affect us. They affected primarily school districts. And in the end, they got most of them bipartisan support because the legislature made districts whole. But this issue has not gone away. First, we know that there's a proposed constitutional amendment. There's a petition being circulated that would prohibit all property taxes. There are an enormous amount of problems with that. I will get to Shanice. The OBM did a great summary of the impact that would have on taxing districts throughout the state. Squire Patton Boggs actually did a memo talking about the impact on public finance and what it would mean in a lot of jurisdictions. So there are tons of problems with this. And we're working with a coalition of folks. The Ohio Library Council has been involved with this as well. We're coordinating with them. And again, while There's a lot of question whether or not this will make it to the ballot. Who knows? But we are committed to being prepared if it does. So I was on a call this morning actually with some folks on some statewide activities. We'll keep you up to speed on that. But obviously that is an existential threat if that were to get on the ballot, if it were to pass. So that is top of the list. In addition to that, I think the General Assembly, in an effort to try to stall that stuff off, there's not a whole lot of bipartisanship on issues. I will tell you, on this constitutional amendment, there will be bipartisan opposition from the legislature, from the governor has already come out against it. The leadership in the House and the Senate have essentially come out against it. So there'll be bipartisan opposition. That's the good news.
Yeah.
But part of what we have to watch is between now, and particularly over the next few weeks before a primary, is what types of activities are taking place dealing with property tax reform that could adversely impact us. So that is, I think, on our whole issue agenda, issue number one. Des, did you want to mention anything there?
No, I had conversations with multiple legislators last night, and there's still uncertainty revolving around not only the 4 bills that passed at the end of last year and will more likely take effect early next month, but there's just a lot of uncertainty surrounded around revenue and how that will impact various entities around the state. And so we are absolutely, keeping our ears to the ground related to what's happening, but definitely have to stay vigilant and ensure that we understand how this will impact not just schools but libraries, other social services, so on and so forth. But we will absolutely keep you all abreast of how these particular bills will impact our revenue source for the state of Ohio.
Tim, do you have any perspective? I've heard some rumors that the grassroots effort is not as strong as we maybe initially assumed it could be, and that there were some leadership issues, but I don't know if you have any other insight.
There's a lot of speculation about that, and people whose opinion I respect a lot suggest that they think it's an uphill battle. July, I think the first week of July is the deadline for the first round of signatures, and I think there's a lot of question whether they can get there, but I will tell you they're passing petitions.
Yeah.
And I think that the spirit right now is let's be prepared.
Mhm.
Let's hope it doesn't, but we'll be prepared if it does. So
It's a July deadline for the
correct, yes. The first round of signatures is due in July. And then they've got a period of time to cure if they're short, but because it's ultimately wrapped up by early August. I'm going to skip ahead in the interest of time to the capital budget. There's a lot of information here on the property tax bills that passed. Again, I would just say that most of these deal with school districts. The one I think that's particularly troubling is the one that allows counties to really essentially unilaterally reduce property taxes. Don't think that's an issue in Cuyahoga County. The county exec has been pretty clear about that. But that's the one that I think makes libraries nervous elsewhere. If you could move on to there we go. Just want to mention the capital budget, which we have played with engaging in. The applications for that are due March 12th. My sense is that this is going to be a bit of a different capital budget. Applications are due in May. There'll be a decision made later on they're due March 12th. The decision and discussion will be in later after the primary and with a decision made probably by early June, perhaps earlier. It sounds like they're really focusing on smaller projects. Again, we will see. We've talked a bit about partnering with the potential of partnering with others on some of our projects, but that's going to move fairly quickly. But the good news is I think later on in the process, there's going to be an opportunity for a larger chunk of money from the unclaimed funds. There is going to be I think the plan is, we'll see how this plays out, but for arts and culture, other projects, that there's going to be a big pot of money potentially available at the end of the year that could be distributed in lame duck. Again, that's hypothetical at this point, but I think that's where they're headed. So with that, Des, did you want to add anything? And then we'll open it up for questions.
No, I'd say we open up for questions. I think that's pretty much what we need to lay out. Mhm.
The process for the state capital budget has to go through a fiscal agent of a state agency to the libraries, and is there a movement through this state library for us to get appropriation?
So the libraries have historically not been considered candidly in the capital budget.
Right.
There was one exception that I'm aware of that was Columbus,
Yeah.
and it actually flowed through ODNR. It was a park project.
Okay.
So they characterized it as a park project, not as a library project. And I think there may be some limited opportunities. We've talked a bit. And again, I think we probably need to discuss it more.
I have
And
an idea.
yeah,
Mhm. Are you sticking around?
I'm sorry.
Are you going to stay through the meeting?
Sorry, unfortunately, I can't, but I'm more than happy. Shanice, we can, yeah. It's
other
kind of
questions?
weird, Mr. Corrigan not being here.
Yes, yes.
He's in Phoenix, so he's enjoying the sun. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
And again, thank you all so
Thank you,
very much.
Desmond.
Thanks,
you.
Des. It really is a pleasure working with
Yes.
you all, and thank you.
Thank Our next order of business is approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of 12/18/25, the joint finance and human resource committee meeting of 12/16/2025, and the regular board meeting and 2026 organizational meeting of 1/15/2026. If there's no omissions or additions, I move for adoption.
Second.
Ms. Butts,
Yes.
Ms. Fryer,
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Rashid,
Yes.
and Mr. Parker.
Okay. At this time, I was going to go ahead and do a motion to suspend the regulations because there was no quorum for the Community Service Committee meeting on February 17th. I moved to temporarily suspend the regulations of the Board of Trustees in Article 9 and 10, requiring referral of resolutions to consider the following resolution.
Second.
Ms. Butts,
Yes.
Ms. Fryer,
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Rashid.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
So for part of the president's report, I'm going to move our agenda a little bit around. So we have a resolution. It is a city council resolution in honor of the director's birthday. I know it's a little late, but we did receive it. And I wanted to recognize you officially. And if I could read this briefly. Well, yes. It's my meeting.
It's your
Yes, we're reading. Okay, for Council President Blaine Griffin, by council members Bishop, Conwell, Davis, Gray, Harsh, Hal Jones, Hudson Jones, Casey, Polensek, Santana, Shaw, Slife, and Starr. Whereas the members of the Cleveland City Council are extremely pleased to join with lovely family members and dear friends in honoring Fulton Thomas Jr. on a very special occasion of his 60th birthday on Tuesday, December 18, 2025. And whereas Fulton Thomas Jr. was born on December 18, 1965, is a nationally respected leader in library and information services and currently serves as the executive director and CEO of the Cleveland Public Library, one of the most largest and most distinguished metropolitan library systems in the U.S. And be it resolved that Cleveland City Council hereby extends its heartiest congratulations to Fulton Thomas Jr. on the very special occasion of his 60th birthday, celebrating his incredible achievements, unwavering contributions, extraordinary leadership, service, and unwavering commitment to education, equity, and community, and further wishes him continued health, happiness, and success in the years ahead, and as he continues to inspire, lead, and serve with distinction. Be it resolved that the city clerk of council be and is hereby requested to transmit a copy of this resolution of congratulations to Councilman President Blaine Griffin for proper presentation. As he couldn't be here today, I will be doing it. We're a little late, but here you go. Let's get a
All righty.
Let's get a picture.
Okay, I didn't even know they could do things for birthdays. But
Well, I got the
come on, everybody.
This is just you, it's all you.
No, everybody. I want everybody here.
No, this is so nice.
It is kind of like a birthday. But you can't tell.
Yay.
Birthday. All right. Count of three. Oh, let's move the sheriff to the side.
Oh, wow.
Gotta keep them in order so Michael doesn't get mad. Count of three. 1, 2, 3. One more. Good.
Thank you.
We'll send it to him. Thank you so much, Dr. Appiah. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And I also would like to open up at this time to other board members and things that they have done in the past month since our last meeting. I know there's been a lot going on.
I'll go. So I had, and I got inspiration from Trustee Shakarian for to pick for my birthday celebration to go to a library branch, and we celebrated at the South Brooklyn branch in end of January, and it was really wonderful. We had really good like pastries and desserts, and I am blanking of the name, but he's amazing with his artistry. And Ray. He drew like the most beautiful like happy birthday like on the window, and it was like the most artistic thing. I'm just like, how do you just like pull this out of nowhere in 5 minutes? And then I also got to, of course, like tour the library and talk to all the staff. We had a really good candid conversation, which I wasn't sure if this like they would have been willing to open like their hopes and their concerns, but we had a really good conversation that I think enlightened myself and Director Thomas's thoughts about like when we think about the future of the South Brooklyn branch, what would they like to see and like what issues they're also facing, especially with now I think the Walgreens had shut down, which was good extra parking for the patrons. So it was really fun. And my sister came along and she just still talks about it till now, how like everybody's so nice. And it was really great. And then attending the relay pass the baton ceremony yesterday was really special. Leah is fascinating, Leah Hudal, who really put together such an amazing display for relay. I got to meet people at the event who said that they were also relay kids years ago. Our like, older adults and seniors who attended. Our moderator, Habiba Grimes, is fascinating. She's a wonderful practitioner in Cleveland. So the conversation also with our guests was just, I really enjoyed how transparently open they were. And they didn't hold back, even for an audience that like was new and fresh to them. And I think it provided an opportunity for us to continue to think about what do we do for the future of our children. Great program.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? So the director, please.
All right. So are we doing director's part or communications? Or did you go? Or,
Whichever one.
all right, let's do communications then. I'll do the director.
Perfect.
So this was a letter. This was sent to Will Reed at the OLBBD, and it says, "Dear Mr. Will, thank you very much for taking the time to meet with me the other day. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to learn about services for people who are blind or print disabled in Ohio. Found it extremely informative. Your activities in collaboration with the NLS and the Ohio State Library felt very rational and systematic. I was also politically interested in recent methods and materials provision through the DoD. Being able to observe the actual work and practice made the visit especially valuable. There are many aspects that I believe could serve as useful references for public libraries in Japan. Please also convey my thanks to library staff who took the time to explain their work to me. Thanks once again, Naoki Matsumoto, who was a librarian who was visiting from Japan, wanting to understand how we did things here in Cleveland. So congratulations, Will, and the work that his folks at OLBPD do every day.
That's great.
Wonderful.
All right, and so I will start my director's report with with a video that I just will show a very short period of time, but it makes me happy to see. And it came up on my feed the other day. And let's see what. So it was in February, so it came on my feed. I said, I'm going to show this again. Every year I'm going to show it just to give me. All right. Thank you.
That was fun.
All right. All righty. Now is something that I find also very enjoyable in seeing. Jacqueline Lamb, will you come to the front? Okay, go ahead, Brian.
And the Cleveland Browns are putting the deserving spotlight on our Crown Royal and the Cleveland Browns are putting the deserving spotlight on our community
Oh, I
throughout
could
the
see this
season.
commercial.
True community leaders. Crown Royal and the Cleveland Browns are putting the deserving spotlight on our community heroes throughout the season. True community leaders build bridges to a better future.
I did see that commercial of Jacqueline. I was like, oh, that was so nice.
What's your next time? I want to see that.
Highlighting a champion for education and literacy in our community. Jacqueline Lamb. Crown Royal.
Well, they actually have subtitles to it. So.
Yeah, we can read it.
And the Cleveland Browns are putting the deserving spotlight on our community heroes throughout the season. True
Which is
community
very low.
leaders
You gotta
build
turn all the way
bridges to a
up.
better future. Today, we're highlighting a champion for education and literacy in our community, Jacqueline Lamb of the Cleveland Public Library. As the Senior Director of Youth Services and Family Engagement, Jacqueline's work is defined by our commitment to education, equity, and empowering families. She has elevated the Cleveland Reads Initiative into a citywide movement, inspiring thousands of scholars and families to make reading a daily habit. In 2025 alone, her program saw over 15,000 scholars participate in literacy challenges. Jacqueline knows that improving literacy takes a village, and she has brought that village together by forging powerful partnerships with city schools, nonprofits, and community leaders. Her vision goes beyond programs. She empowers educators and caregivers with the tools needed to create systematic change, strengthening Cleveland's entire educational ecosystem. For your incredible dedication to connecting our community through literacy, thanks, Jacqueline. That deserves a crown.
We need to put that on our Facebook page. I did see that.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Well deserved.
Yep.
Oh, no, I don't have any.
Oh.
No, I mean, I just have a great team. I work with some great people and I'm just blessed. I think what it did, seeing this video, it encouraged me because it's, stays when it's hard and it just encouraged you to just keep going and just keep moving forward. And that's it.
All
So
right.
thank you.
Well, I'll send you the Trustee Parker video.
Okay, great.
That will always keep you up. All right. The next is, we've always been doing Your Story Starts Here. And Melanie, you want to come up and introduce our story?
So we know that the library is kind of a place where people come in the side door and they don't have to sign in. So when people leave the library, we don't know where they go. And the library is kind of a seasons of life kind of place for a lot of people. We'll be real active at the library at a certain season of our life and then move on to something else. So we very rarely get to hear the stories about what happens after somebody leaves the library. And today, I am so delighted to present you Letitia Wilson-Stone of the Shea Theater Project, who is one of those who walked out the door and is coming back to tell us their story.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. It's very exciting to be here and to just share a little bit of what the Woodland Branch Library in particular did for me. So we grew up in King Kennedy. So the best place for me to go as someone who was very different, unique. I always, walk with a skip. When I went places was the library. So Miss Jeffries was in the youth section, and then Miss Shannon Muhammad was also at the desk. So my grandmother would always have all of the grandkids. So it'd be about 6 of us. And we would run around, but I was the one who would really get into the books and stories. So Miss Jeffries would curate books. It was even one time I went to Dyke Montessori School, which is right around the corner. So very much rooted in just that neighborhood. And we were able to bring something to school, but I wanted to bring my librarian. And I asked her if she would come to the school, and she came and did a presentation. Everybody talked about me after, but it was fine. But I was really encouraged to love stories. And then I always participated in the summer reading club. One summer I read 84 books and did 84 book reports. And my favorite animal was a polar bear. So they bought me a life-size stuffed polar bear, airbrushed my name on it with a book. And that was my gift that I was given. So as I grew older, and even once my grandmother, she passed, and I would still go to the library when I had kids. I would show Miss Shannon my children's pictures, and I just kept going back because they were, I didn't think I was getting emotional. There were people who reminded me of my grandmother, of my family, of how important it was for me to be myself regardless. So then I went to Cleveland School of the Arts, got into theater. And so I'm like, embodying stories now. So it's taking it from a page into the body onto stage. I then went on to work at Cleveland Public Theater. I worked for Cleveland Playhouse. I worked at Caramoo House for some time doing their arts education program. And then I recently began my own theater company, Ashe Theater Project, which a lot of the roots from what I got from my time at the library is what I wanted to make sure is literacy through embodiment, is meeting people where they are, unapologetic celebration, that embrace that we have. So currently we are in East Cleveland School District, working with those students there. They went on last year to go to Columbus, winning an oratorio competition where they wrote their own speeches. They won in Cleveland, placed in first and second, and then they went down to Columbus. They've been reading August Wilson. They're in 5th and 6th grade. They can tell you about Langston Hughes and George C. Wolfe. But again, it's using these stories and this literature to be able to find new ways of expressing oneself. I was also very privileged and honored to be a Transformative Arts Fund recipient. So last year, I received a little over $250,000 to do an immersive theater experience. And once I got that grant, that's when I came down here looking for Miss Jeffries. And I was like, because throughout the years, people would tell me she was down at this branch. But it was I think I came one day and she wasn't there, but this day she was there. Came up, was able to have like a lovely conversation of just like remembering and really being able to say thank you. I don't think I'll ever be able to really express how thankful I am, because it wasn't always easy growing up in that area and in that space. You would see a lot, you would hear a lot. And it wasn't just about escaping in the books. They also gave me a person to anchor myself in that, and so much of having interest in me. So last summer, I went back to Woodland Branch 2 and did like a little summer 1 week, because I was also just seeing how much there's not a lot of things for people to do after school. It's not a lot of places. And especially in that area, the library is everything. The library is the best place to go. And so seeing how we started like, okay, we're going to do this program. We're going to make a play, everybody. And it was something they hear one day, not here the next day, more cousins, more friends. And we were able to like face paint the kids, give them costumes, give them things for them to be able to go home with. And just wanting to continue to do that work. So I was very excited at this opportunity to stand before you all and to also really honor the work of Miss Jeffries.
Yeah. What do you think of the new Woodland branch.
I love it, and I'm glad y'all did not get rid of the old build. Like that, that's still there.
That's the roots.
But
That's
yes,
the roots.
yes.
Yes.
But it is beautiful, and I love how much lighting and stuff you get in
Thank you.
I was at a convention in Denver once when Miss Jeffrey was giving out the Caldecott Award. And she
Yes.
does a lot of influence for a lot of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you
There
so
it is,
much.
Michael, you want to come over here? Maybe.
Yeah, or why don't you take to the outside?
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
take them somewhere where you can get a good picture.
Oh, can I say something?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Letitia. When people ask me why I became a librarian, it's because I've always wanted to make an impact on our young people. And hearing stories like this really, it's not about me, but it's about making those impacts and changing lives. That's what we do here. I was showing Letitia that Woodland, we had our summer reading club finale, and there's a picture of her winning when she won the stuffed animal. I don't have that other photo, but it just, being here for 29 plus years goes by very quickly, and you don't get an opportunity to see the impact that you make. And I have seen a lot of our patrons grow up, have families, and then come back to the library and say, I remember you. You're still here? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. But I want to thank you for reaching out. When I saw you, I was so thankful and so happy. And also, Letitia participated in our 100 celebration. Can you mention your photo, the phone booth that you had?
So whenever we go out into the community, one of the biggest things that I lost were pictures of my family, and then different things when my grandmother passed. So we have a traveling phone booth where you can pick up and leave messages. So at the 100-year anniversary, which we have to put together everything because it's pictures of the patrons that came, it's voice notes of them sharing memories that they had at the library and what the library meant to them and what stories, what books they liked. And when we collect these voiceovers, we put them into the immersive experiences that we create so that it's given that overall surrounding of like, these are the voices of my community, these are voices of encouragement, this is guidance to different things, and it's all rooted here. So that it's the thing of knowing that we all, when we live our journeys, we are actually guides for others. And just how do we leave those breadcrumbs and those nuggets within pages of books and stories, within getting the archives with the photo booth and also we took portraits of a lot of people in the community and gave them early quality framed portraits so that they were able to keep those as well.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, you too. If you could step outside with Michael so Michael can get some pictures of you guys together.
Where can we find you? Are you on social media, website?
I was like, I don't know how much of a pitch this is. But it is on Instagram. It's Ashe ASE_theater_project. It's also AsheTheaterProject.com. So those are two avenues to be able to be connected. Again, I love and support the library in all ways. I always make sure the kids sign up for summer reading programs, and my through 3 children are also very much involved. So thank you all for all of the work that you all do in keeping this going.
It's
Thank you.
wonderful. Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say,
Wow.
I have to say, I'm so glad that we do this. And it's so cool that there was a show and tell years ago, bring your librarian, and there's a show and tell today. She's still showing her librarian. So there's so much love in that story. And I can't wait for us. I forget the way that we're curating and sharing these, but so excited that we have the opportunity to hear these stories at each board meeting.
Yeah, it's one of the best.
Are we putting them on the CPL page as well? Or
I think
are
we
the-
can. We haven't been, but we can.
Okay,
can
I
start
thought we
doing
were
that.
storing them or keeping them someplace. I thought that's what you said.
Well, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
Thank you.
All right, so finishing up, let me just go through some things quickly. You have some paperwork for the NEA kickoff at the West Side Market, which is going to be this Saturday from 10 to 2 p.m. So next Saturday, I'm like all out of whack. So next Saturday from 10 to 2. All right, so hopefully we can see you there at the Book Milk, but they're going to be doing things all over.
Where is that? I'm sorry, I was talking, I wasn't paying
At
attention.
the West Side Market.
Oh, yeah, we love the West Side Market.
Yeah, it's going to be the NEA's big read. There's a flyer at your table that'll give you some information around it. It's a great picture of the meet the author, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, and you see on the Bite Into Books here, we're partnering with the county and all of the county libraries on this program.
Okay,
Right?
got it.
And so everybody will be there. Where's Angela? Stand up, Miss Angela.
Hey, that's Carnegie West.
Yeah, I think many of you saw on
Oh,
our
that was
Facebook
so
page, this book here, 150 libraries.
Yes,
And the
yes,
Carnegie
yes.
West is featured in this book,
Of course. it
right?
is.
As one of the-
Congratulations.
It's to the page, and I will pass this around to all of you.
With a ribbon.
Yeah, wherever that is. I'm going for it. All right, there we go.
Oh, wow.
So,
Cool. It's really something. I was totally surprised. I had no idea, and it's we're cheese and some really good company.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a short story.
Fun.
Okay, beautiful.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
right.
That's
And then, of course, Carrie and our financial team, GFOA's Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, again, for 14 years straight. So kudos to Carrie and their team again for making sure that our financial, that report is all put together. Oh, I'm passing this way. And that's it for the director's report.
Thank you, Director. Wow, that's a lot, but a lot of good stuff going
So
on.
the Toni Morrison thing is going all year, but that, I guess the first one that's a Zoom from Columbus is on the 22nd of
Yeah.
February, right?
Mhm, mhm. We're now going to move into the Finance Committee report. Trustee Rashid is going to proxy for Trustee Corrigan.
All right. So we will start with Exhibit 1, a resolution to accept gifts for the month of January. Whereas the board receives gifts of monies, library service materials, technology resources, and miscellaneous non-monetary gifts from generous citizens from time to time. And whereas attached to this resolution is the gift gift report itemizing the gifts received by the library for the month of January 2026. Now therefore be it resolved that the gifts described in the gift report for January of 2026 be accepted upon the conditions connected with said gifts in accordance with section 3375.40K of the Ohio Revised Code. So moved.
Second?
Ms. Butts,
Yes.
Ms. Fryer,
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Rashid,
Yes.
and Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 2, resolution to accept grant funds from the Child Care Resource Center of Cuyahoga County, Inc., DBA Starting Point for MyCom out-of-school time transition programs. Whereas the Cleveland Public Library and the Child Care Resource Center of Cuyahoga County, Inc., DBA Starting Point, have partnered to provide out-of-school time transition services. And be it resolved that the Board of the Trustees of the Cleveland Public Library, pursuant to the authority granted under RC 3375.40K, formally accepts this grant from the Child Care Resource Center of Cuyahoga County, Inc., DBA Starting Point, in the amount of $47,986, and be it further resolved that the Executive Director, CEO, or his designee is authorized to enter in and execute such agreements or instruments as may be necessary or appropriate to effectuate the terms of this resolution, which agreements and instruments shall be subject to approval by the library's chief legal officer. So moved.
Second?
Ms. Butts,
Yes.
Ms. Fryer,
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Rashid,
Yes.
and Mr. Parker.
Yes.
And we have Exhibit 3, resolution to advance cash from the general fund to the MyCom fund. Whereas Ohio Revised Code, Section 5705.14 provides for the transfer in advance of funds from the general fund to other funds, and whereas a cash advance from the library's general fund to the MyCom fund is a desirable method of resolving cash flow problems without the necessity of incurring additional interest expense for short-term loans, and to provide the necessary seeds for the grants that are allocated on a reimbursement basis, and now therefore be it resolved upon adoption of the resolution to accept grant funds from the Child Care Resource Center of Cuyahoga County, Inc., DBA Starting Point. This board authorizes that the general fund advance cash in the amount of $47,986 to the MyCom fund for the same purpose for which the funds were established, and for the which repayment in an equal amount is made within a year or until all requests for reimbursement have been made and been received. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Ms. Fryer?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Rashid?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
We have Exhibit 4, Resolution to amend Waltz Branch project budget. Whereas on March 18th, 2025, the Board of Library Trustees approved a budget for the Waltz Branch project as shown in Exhibit A to this resolution. And on September 18th, 2025, this board authorized the Chief Operating Officer to reallocate funds amongst each of the various budget line items shown in Exhibit A, provided such reallocations do not increase the overall project budget. And whereas while a portion of these increased costs will be shared with the library's partners on the joint development project, West 80 Senior Limited Partnership, the Chief Operating Officer recommends that this board amend the Waltz Branch project budget by increasing the owner's contingency fund by $500,000, whereas increasing the overall project budget to $12,555,239.58 as shown in Exhibit A to this resolution. And now therefore be it resolved that the Board of the Library Trustees hereby approves the amended project budget for the new Waltz Branch as shown in Exhibit A to this resolution, which expenditures shall be charged to the capital project funds, including the Building and Repair Fund 401, the Construction Tax Exempt Fund 402, and or the Construction Taxable Fund 403. And be it further resolved that the Board of the Library Trustees authorizes the Chief Operating Officer to reallocate funds amongst each of the budget categories set forth in Exhibit A, provided such reallocations do not increase the overall project budget. So moved.
Second.
Could we have John just explain, I know we talked about it at the committee meeting, but the significant weather issues that have impacted this and why?
Yeah, a number of issues. So mostly involved with the site construction. So this is the shared work package that the library is holding the contract for. So we have to be the one to issue the change orders, even though the costs are ultimately shared between the library and the West 80th Corporation that's building the Karam Senior Living side of the project. So some of the various issues we've found have been the need to install retaining walls for site slope stabilization on the east side of the site, need to amend our stormwater plans in accordance with adjudication by Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, underground obstructions that we found on the Detroit Road side of the site. Basically, it's a buried previous road that didn't come up in our geotechnical studies. Unsuitable soils which had to be hauled off the site, which exceeded the allowance that was established by the design phase geotechnical board as we did. And then the time associated with that, which has delayed the project, which has its own overhead costs. And then unfortunately pushed the concrete work into January, which is the most weather severe January we've had in 30 years, which required special equipment and admixtures for ground admixtures to the concrete, and then ground thaw for the site to actually get the concrete placed. So it was a number of issues. Yeah.
This is helpful. And then timeline wise, because people keep asking us, does this take us off any timeline based on what
It's pushed
happened?
us back for sure. We're still in the first half of 2027. We had previously had a substantial completion date on paper of April of 2027. Now, most recent, if the change orders are approved per the resolution, it'll be a June 7th substantial completion. And then there is usually furniture outfitting technology time. So I think we'd be in second to third quarter, early summer of 2027.
Good to know.
And I can update the board as we go. There's a lot between now and then, obviously.
Thank you.
And the second,
Second.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Ms. Fryer?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Rashid?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
We are at Exhibit 5, Resolution to authorize agreements and establish project budget for Popular Department Refresh Project. Whereas in honor of the 100th anniversary of the main library and in order to better serve the evolving needs of the public, the Executive Director CEO has tasked the Chief Operating Officer and his team with reimagining and refreshing the popular department in Maine in order to make it a more inviting, comfortable, attractive, and versatile space. And whereas the library received quotes from various contractors for painting and carpet installation and from vendors for the purchase of new furniture, fixtures, and equipment, which are attached in this resolution. Based on the quotes received, the library estimates that the popular department refresh project will cost a total of $640,435.61. And whereas in order to accommodate unforeseen changes and additions to the project that may arise, the Chief Operations Officer recommends that the board authorizes the library to enter in amendments to any of the contracts necessitated by this resolution, providing the sum of all such amendments does not exceed $51,234.85, representing 8% of the total estimated project cost, thus setting the maximum cost for the project to an amount not to exceed $691,670.46. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of the Library Trustees approves the project budget for the Popular Department Refresh Project as set forth in Exhibit A to this resolution, which expenditures shall be charged to the Building and Repair Fund 401, and authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, or his designee to move forward in taking the steps necessary to complete the project and to execute such instruments or documents as may be necessary or appropriate to effectuate the terms of the resolution, including those in excess of the threshold set by the board on September 21st, 2023, currently $79,568, and which are payable from the project budget established herein. And be it further resolved that the Board of Library Trustees authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, or his designee to amend the agreements authorized by this resolution, provided the total cost of all such amendments does not exceed $51,234.85, which amount shall be charged to the Building and Repair Fund 401. So moved.
Second.
I have a question that didn't come up on Tuesday. How a lot of this work from what I was reading on their proposals is being done while we're open. How is that going to impact the traffic, or what are
We're going to work carefully with the public services team and popular department to kind of manage that. We will be having small spaces within the larger popular to have to close while we're doing work within those spaces.
Okay.
Painting will be done off lifts, carpets will be tore up, furniture will be reinstalled. So there will be some kind of isolated closures that will communicate as we move forward the project.
Okay, I was just worried because a lot of them I saw they said work will be done Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 or whatever. It was daytime.
Yeah, we're not
hours.
going to shut the whole department down for weeks or months at a time. We're going to try to, chunk it out as we go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Fryer?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Rashid?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
And our final exhibit, Exhibit 6, second amendment to the year 2026 appropriation. Whereas Ohio Revised Code, Section 5705.40 provides for the amendment of an appropriation measure when necessary. And whereas the aggregate of all appropriation classifications does not exceed the total amount submitted to the Cuyahoga County Budget Commission, now therefore be it resolved that the sums indicated on the attached second amendment of the year 2026 appropriation schedule be approved. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Fryer?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Rashid?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
And the remainder of the Finance Committee are reports A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. They're all made available to the general public on our agenda for viewing of the full documents. And that concludes the Finance Committee.
Thank you so much, Trustee Rashid. We're now moving into the Human Resource Committee report. Trustee Shakarian?
Thank you, President Rodriguez. I present Exhibit 7, the regular employment report, detailing the new hires, transfers, terminations, resignations, and retirement.
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Fryer?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Rashid?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
And
Ask, Mrs. Parks, do you want to introduce your new manager?
Yes, we have Alex, please stand up.
Who is the new manager of our Jefferson location.
All
Previously the children's librarian at our Rice branch.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I present Exhibit 8, Retirement Recognition Citation. A citation has been issued for the following staff member on the occasion of their retirement. Marcy Williams, Public Services Manager for 32 years as of February 28, 2026. Be it resolved that the citation for the above staff member presented by the Board of Trustees in appreciation of their faithful and dedicated service given to the Cleveland Public Library be recorded in the minutes of this meeting, and be it further resolved that the citation be sent to them forthwith. They are not present at this meeting of the Board of Trustees, but Ms. Williams is here. Can you please come up and
Yeah, we can do that. From our compliment of where we want, yeah. We can do that, yeah, for what we want to be and then where we are. Yeah, we can tell us. Okay.
Sorry.
No, we can talk with Anna about that.
So I've gotten to know
Wow.
Marcy in different ways over the years, especially when I worked at Legal Aid and we hosted Legal Aid clinics. And I am proud to present you with Pete the Cat, with some very special inscriptions, and also your retirement badge.
So the board asked us to look at a different way to provide something for everyone. So the idea was to look for what might be their favorite book. And then we would put a stamp within it at the top for that, and then
Couple little notes.
some notes to you from us or whatever. But
Don't be a stranger.
How fun.
yeah.
Where you at? Come over.
No,
Come on. Come on over here.
Come over here. So the whole thing about it is, whenever I do a story time for kids, I always do Pete the Cat because I've learned it from Marcy, right? And in my 17 years, one of the consistent folks that have always been there and assisting me has been Marcy. So thank you, Marcy. We're too old to play volleyball together anymore, but we're still.
And Director, we want to add that a copy of that book has been added to the collection at the Huff branch dedicated to Marcy.
Oh, that's nice.
Count three. 1, 2, 3. One more. Awesome.
Thank you. All right.
So moved.
Second.
Nice. Good idea.
Yes.
Ms. Fryer.
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Rashid.
Yes.
And Mr. Klein.
Yes.
And that concludes the Human Resources Committee report.
Thank you, Trustee Shakarian. We're now going to move into the Community Service Committee report. Trustee Fryer.
Exhibit 9 is a resolution to amend the policy on use of Cleveland Public Library's social media sites. Whereas social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter X, YouTube, and Instagram offer the Cleveland Public Library act with current and potential library users, and whereas the library uses various social media platforms to encourage interaction and engagement and to provide information about library programs, events, materials, employment opportunities, and other topics related to the library's mission. And whereas this board adopted a policy on use of Cleveland Public Library's social media sites on November 17, 2011, which was revised with board approval on December 15, 2022. And whereas in order to keep pace with the changing social media and legal landscapes, the library administration has made minor updates to the existing policy on use of Cleveland Public Library's social media sites and recommends that the policy be revisited on a regular basis to ensure compliance with evolving laws. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees hereby adopts the revised and retitled policy on use of Cleveland Public Library's social media platforms as attached to be effective February 20th, 2026, and directs that the library management display the revised policy in the appropriate section on the library's public website. So moved.
Second. In a second.
Good. Back.
I just want to thank again Brian and Seth for diving so deep into this. It came from the American Library Association conference last year, had a few really terrific sessions on the very quickly evolving legal landscape for a limited public forum, and they heard our comments coming back from those learnings and put it into practice. So thank you very much, Brian and Seth.
You're welcome, my pleasure. Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Fryer?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Rashid?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Report I is the monthly activity report, and report J is the annual comparative report. They're not linked, but does staff or anyone want to share anything?
Mine opens to a Canva. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll link
Did
them
you-
afterwards.
Did it not come up for you that's okay. Let me give you mine here.
Perfect. Okay, great. Well, we're grateful for these two reports, and if no further questions, we'll move forward with the strategic plan scorecard.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to give you an update about the strategic plan scorecard. I'm going to give you a high-level overview. There's some accompanying slides. And if there are deeper questions, I will likely turn to my colleagues for some answers. Before I begin, we did use some of the beginning years of the strategic plan to set some benchmarks. And then I think some of this process has kind of unearthed some data collection challenges that we're hoping the implementation of a data warehouse and the strategic plan refresh will help to relieve. And then one of the tools that we were using to survey patrons as part of our strategic plan measures was organized by the Public Library Association, and they actually discontinued that particular project outcome. So we have tried to download a lot of the different surveys that we were using so that we can transition into the future. So you can actually probably jump to slide 3. So these are organized around our strategic priorities. So under closing the gaps, the first thing we have is digital literacy. Can you go back to early literacy? Yes. So you'll see the green is reflecting people who have been in our programs and the attendees, and whether they feel that they have feel more prepared for kindergarten after attending one of our programs. You also see the green in terms of the number of library cards with the partnership with CMSD. That was done in 2024, where the CMSD ID card was also their library card. That definitely helped us achieve those goals twofold. Where you see the yellow is where, in terms of the number of programs that we offer, as well as the attendance. The attendance is very, very close. So I feel like it should be green. And then same thing with the yes, and then same thing with the goal for the programs offered. So very, very close, but still technically in the yellow. So we can go to the next slide. This is one of the areas where you see some technical issues and some with the data collection. So we wanted to increase the number of strivers and seniors in digital related programs in person or online. And as we had a tagging system that was actually changed, and so we lost some of that data to be able to count. And then again, the project outcome survey in 2023, we were able to collect some scoring 4.2 and 3.6 in terms of knowledge and confidence after attending a program, a CPL program. Next slide. So again, technical issues with workforce development. We just really had one basic survey. After any interaction around workforce development, is it a smiley face, a meh, or a frowny face? And so because of the technology issues, we did try to pivot to project outcome. And again, with Project Outcome, we ran into the fact that that was discontinued. So we're looking at different ways in which to measure our progress here. But I did want to put a couple of things that we were able to accomplish, so you can read them here. Moving on to the next slide. The People's University. So these are also in yellow in terms of, but what was achieved in progress towards the People's University is that our program guides and our event calendar on cpl.org were organized by TPU school. So, and then also the collection management team was meeting with branches and patrons to adjust ordering patterns and making sure the books that were being ordered matched what was desired in each one of the neighborhoods.
What does TPU stand for?
The People's University.
Of course.
Apologies.
We don't usually say TPU.
Correct. Next slide. So you get regular updates from my colleague John Lang on the capital projects and the facilities master plan, and then the associating capital enhancement projects that go along with that. So that's why you see those in yellow. The budget, the state budget has made our overall timeline a little bit extended on those projects, but you'll see green in terms of condition assessments, as well as digital access and closing service gaps. Last slide, operating with excellence. So projects around impact and belonging, aligning resources, engaged workplace, and continuous improvement, all green. And same thing with fundraising and advocacy. And as Mr. Cosgrove and my colleague have already briefed you on, the state of the Public Library Fund, that is in red. Any questions?
Todd, I do have a question, and I don't know if this is more towards John. With the closing of a lot of the CMSD schools, what are we doing in preparation to aligning the other branches to make sure that the other schools have enough materials, or the other libraries have enough materials to cover the increased numbers of students that'll be attending those?
Actually, this is
Does
something
that
that
make sense?
Jacqueline should
Okay.
probably come up to and speak to.
Well, and I think a related question I have to yours, President Rodriguez, is the workforce development section of our plan. And given the new metrics that CMSD has to track and follow, and there's some preliminary sort of milestones they have to hit that actually link a lot to some of our outcomes we're tracking.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
too. I'm just trying to figure out how that's gonna work
Yeah.
with us and some of this. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so
Everybody.
So let me start by and both Erica, Jacqueline, both of you can come up, because with the closing of the schools, there have been certain things that we've been on meetings with the school district. They have monthly meetings or weekly meetings actually, talking about how they're moving forward with the Building Brighter Futures program. And so where we've stepped in is, we're increasing the amount of tutoring we're doing and programming we're doing after school. And Jacqueline has started having conversations with the type of programming we can. So the idea is that the schools are going to be closed, and in many of the areas where we have the libraries, we're going to do everything we can do to have provide more access for the young people.
So you're gonna
able to
be
there.
doing shifting around as well for us. The library will be doing shifting to accommodate the growing number of kids
Yes.
that are, okay.
Yeah.
And we track what branches are gonna lose school to. We have a school list. Every branch is associated to a certain school. They go through story times and things of that such. So what we did was we condensed the spreadsheet to reflect which branches will lose a school, but which branch will gain a school.
Right.
And so that's the way that myself, Erica, of course, and then public service leadership, branch leadership is going to work together to figure out what support is needed in those areas and what resources are needed in those areas. For example, over at Mount Pleasant, where they're going to gain Charles Dickens for A.J. Rickoff, there's a middle school program there after school to ensure that when they come in, they have something to do that is reflective of what is happening at school and at home. So we're just figuring out how, but we're going to be ready to go come the new school year. But we have condensed our list to see where the impact is going to be and what support for those youth services staff especially where they're gonna need support so that we don't forget, stop going out to schools and doing our story times and things of that such. So,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah.
That answers my question really good, because I was like, that has
No,
something.
yeah, well, you can tell them about the
Go ahead.
tutoring.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just to add to that, we have expanded our partnership for tutoring. So we're working still with Cleveland State, Case Western Reserve University, and also Tri-C. And so we are already starting to roll out tutors, new tutors from all three of those institutions. That gives us more access to tutors than we've ever had before. And so we are working on making sure that we have tutoring available in all of our branch locations. So we're already starting that. We're already seeing an influx of tutors. And so
Nice.
we'll be prepared.
Thank you, and I
Thank
do
you.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
and the last thing is, and Tana, you could speak to this, we've been trying to work with the school district so that at our next town hall, we can have either Dr. Morgan or one of the representatives from the school district to speak to our staff and answer any questions our staff might have about the closings and what the process they're going to be doing, how they're going to move forward with the new school.
Dr. Morgan is confirmed, he just needs to adjust the time a little bit on that day, but he's confirmed.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
good.
Yes, thank you. And then also for workforce development, to your comment with CMSD, most of our programs for workforce development are actually aimed more at adults. So a lot of the things that you saw on there, we've done in partnership with public services to offer job fairs, as well as just coaching. We've also done a lot of pilot programs and just trying to figure out what is working and what for our patrons. So it was, what are the right materials to have in different branches around workforce development? It was also, should we bring in more one-on-one coaching versus classroom settings? So we're also just trying different avenues to be able to support our patrons.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Erica.
Thank you, yes.
For your work. I know they're always both proactive as well as responsive to, the needs of the community and various partners. One point of clarity that I have is, how do we track attendance at events? I know that I've gone to the relay events, et cetera, and people come like at different times, and I also feel like maybe we're not 13 off. So, but I'm just curious, like, how do we track for those events? I'm sure we have like an imperfect system.
We do have somewhat of an imperfect system that we're trying to make more perfect. There are a variety of ways that we track, either by just counting, right, or having a counter, or when they're after hours, we can tell how many people walked in the building in and out. So when we're able to use that system.
That is correct. And then I also wanted to point out in the year-over-year comparison, you will also see in visit I think at our last board meeting, we talked about how can we count differently, because visits, according to the state library reports that we are responsible for giving, it's only people who are physically coming into our locations. So we have also included, since 2023, major offsite programs that may have been where we have had a significant amount of attendance that may not have been in our buildings, but we also wanted to reflect those in our visits.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I will turn it over to John for the building status update.
Thanks. Just a couple of notes in addition to the resolutions that we discussed earlier. We've been pleased to reopen the Eastman Reading Garden with the mild weather this week. But at the same time, we have not taken the plows or the salt spreaders off our trucks. So we're ready.
Don't.
Then we look forward to having the garden opened, the reading garden open permanently, but as opportunity presents with the mild weather. I had a presentation for those who had Finance Committee earlier this week from the architect on the LSW public restroom project. That project is out for bid right now. We have the pre-bid walkthrough next week. We're opening bids the week before the March Board of Trustees. So I hope to be bringing bid results and a request for a resolution for a project budget to the March board. And other projects looking ahead to future boards, we are advertising for the Group 2 architect engineer firms to design the next batch of facilities master plan projects. And likewise, the Fleet campus design is nearly complete. We're in final review. We'll start bidding with the construction manager in March, on tracking for a May guaranteed maximum price amendment to come to board so we can break ground in June. Those dates will firm up over the next 3 or 4 months.
Thank you.
I
Thank
do
you,
have a
Jess.
question. Just from leaving from the relay event last night, I saw that it was green and the Eastman Reading Garden, but then I also saw everything downtown was green. Like, is there coordination, or is it just by
Tiffany
luck
can
it
answer
was
that better.
green?
The lights are, the new lights, I'm glad you noticed the new lighting. It does look great. Is programmable.
Okay.
I confess, I don't know if we programmed it last night in conjunction with anybody else.
The lighting is completely programmable. We have a daily schedule that runs, and then we are able to update it based on games, awareness months, etc. We were not intentionally, well, we might have been. So we have, I have a schedule we get from Destination Cleveland, and then we have two people who are often working in Brett Hall. They have the Destination Cleveland schedule and our lighting schematics, and they are tasked with updating ours to coincide with Destination Cleveland's when it makes sense.
It was so cool because I
Good.
was just leaving from like where I parked. Everything was all the same green. It was really cool.
Nice.
Well, I'm so glad. Then yes, that one was that one was on purpose because our nightly one is not just a solid color. So thanks.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll turn it over to Shanice for the advocacy task force update and the foundation update.
The advocacy update was done by Cosgrove, so we will keep you posted on those efforts. As it relates to the foundation, we are gearing up for the first board meeting of the year. At that meeting, fundraising goals will be articulated. Preliminary fundraising goals have already been shared with Director Thomas. Obviously, there's a quantitative goal. We're looking at bringing in 7 figures into the organization. And also they align with our strategic priorities you heard my colleague Tana talk about. I think from a short-term perspective, we have a keen focus on 3 areas for this year: solidifying our major donor program, building donor pipeline, in addition to testing some earned income initiatives from a revenue perspective, and also from engaging new audiences. So those are our short-term goals for the year, and I'll expound more on those. Once we get official approval from Director Thomas, I'll go into those. I'd love to present at another meeting. I think it's also important to note from a long-term perspective, we have some heavy strategic initiatives that we are looking to raise funding for, most notably our Northeast Ohio Broadcast Archive project, in addition to continuing to build the endowment and also doing some efforts as it relates to looking at our current structure. And so we'll be engaging, we hope to get an RFP out for a fundraising consultant to really give us a 3 to 5 year target from a finance perspective, or an annual fundraising target perspective, so that we can align those initiatives, get the money, and continuing the work that we do. Lastly, we have the Library of Congress here, and we were privileged to have Director Thomas and Trustee Shakarian attend a meeting with some funders and some key stakeholders to talk about the locale project, in addition to talk about and learn more about the Northeast Ohio Broadcast Archive project, which we're trying to fundraise and build awareness around it and engage people in it from an investment perspective. Lastly, Director Thomas and I and Trustee Rodriguez will be in Florida next month. We got a wonderful opportunity to engage with some potentially, hopefully friends of the library, but more notably to recognize Steve and Lori Potash. So we will bring back our results of that meeting. We're honored to be able to participate, and more to come.
Thank you.
And a big, a thank you to Steve Potash for the donation.
Yes, let me get on the mic and say that. The big thanks for Steve Potash for giving us the opportunity, Cleveland Public Library, to go down in Florida to be there and recognize him.
Thank you. And lastly, I'll turn it over to Ashley for the impact and belonging update.
So Ashley's out. She is out at current, but we have Miss Anna.
Hey, Anna.
How's everyone today? Good. My name's Anna Vargas, and I am here to provide an update for the Impact and Belonging Department in the absence of Ms. Boyd. I would like to highlight a recent LinkedIn post, which was included in your packet, where a patron praised the Celebrate Those Who Give Black, the exhibit that is in LSW, noting how powerful it was to see Black activists and philanthropists honored in a space that reflects our commitment to diverse history. She especially appreciated the sister cities flag, including those from African cities, as a visual reminder of global connection during Black History Month. That segues into my next thing here. We hope that you guys have all enjoyed this month's programming honoring Black History Month. There are a few upcoming events that I just kind of wanted to mention. At Harvard Lee on February 28th, they will have live jazz guitar with Roger Page from noon to 2 p.m. And Memorial Nottingham, February 24th through the 26th, is going to have a film series, Innovators of Black History, Volume 1, which is going to feature figures such as George Washington Carver and Lewis Latimer. And then finally, the Cultural Diversity Employee Resource Group will host an EAT event on Saturday, March 21st at the Eastman Branch from 12 to 3. And you guys should have the flyers in your packets as well. And we would just like to see everybody come out.
Thank you.
And that is it for Impact and Belonging.
Thank you.
Very good.
And that concludes the Community Services Committee report.
Thank you, Trustee Fryer. Before we move on, could somebody tell me what this is? I was sort of trying to. Okay. Go ahead, John. Do you know what it is? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to bring this up. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I would just ask it before.
Melissa Carr in the archives is always digging in the boxes, and we saw this was, our automation department was the predecessor to our Cleveland Ed and our IT team, and we go back with amazing, what did they call it? Computers back in the day. 1956 is when this library first started doing automation, and we were the first libraries in the country to take our card catalog and digitize it and put it online. And Melissa found this cool thing about how we started internet access, and it just shows like we were big time news back in 1996 for having 20 computers at the library. So it just shows like we were ahead of the game early on in the 90s. And it was big news. And you can see East Cleveland had one computer, Glenville, all of our libraries. And now it's amazing. We just wanted to show the board how far
we're beating everybody then.
We were beating them then, and we're doing it now. But it's just really cool to look back at like the service where we're always trying to make sure that we're getting what the public needs and keeping up with them. So we just thought it was interesting. So thanks to Melissa for pulling and
Thank you.
printing that out.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. At this time, there's no old or new business. We did receive a couple comments, public comments electronically. They were responded to by staff, and we will put them on for the records. And then at this time, I move to adjourn to executive session to discuss collective bargaining matters.
Second.
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Fryer?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
That's cool. Yes.
Ms. Rashid?
Yes.
And Mr. Clark?
Yes. No, yeah, we're done.
Yep.
Have you trustees heard about some of these stories? The back 2 pages of the Week magazine this week had about
Go ahead and
Someone's-
call the, we're out of executive session. I call the meeting back to order.
Second. Thank you. Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Fryer?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Rashid?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
This time I call the board meeting adjourned.
Very good.
So what was that,